Hi everybody, it's Adam. I'm back here with another video, and today I'm going to go over the 5th and the 6th because I did not make a video yesterday. So June 5th and June 6th. I'm going to go over the projections first here on NASDAQ, then I'm going to go over to ES. So right now we hit our higher time frame point, which was this fair value gap that was up here. And on ES, I'm looking possibly up above this high and possibly up into this gap within here, if we can get up into that higher part of the range. If not, then whatever. We're just going to consolidate and possibly have some pullbacks down into these fair value gaps. So all of these fair value gaps, I'm going to be monitoring to see if these want to act as a potential support to move higher, or if it just wants to keep consolidating here. But if we do create some inversion gaps, I'll be looking for inversion gaps to bring down lower. But until then, that's all trading is. If that happens, I'll look for shorts, but if not, I'm going to look for buys. Right now, I think buys are still a higher probability, but we need to see some bullish closures within these gaps within up here. So right now, I'm just using these gaps as potential targets, potential supports, just for another confluence within a trade entry. So I'm actually going to go over the 5th of yesterday, June 5th. I'm going to go over that trade first and show you what happened and why I took the buy basically up into this area and how price action played out. So I have this fair value gap here. I want to see price reach the high of this weekly fair value gap. So I'm looking at that area there. So now I'm watching price action. What are we seeing? So price action is making a higher high here at ES on the left, but NASDAQ's making a lower high. So that's bearish SMT. All right, so that's the whole point of these videos. I want to try to give you guys insight of how I look at price action, how you can interpret it into like 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute time frames. Not financial advice, but like this is just how I look at it, and it's actually becoming very, very clear for some of the people that do watch these videos. But anyways, we have bearish SMT at these highs, and then we are looking for lower pricing. So I wanted to see if we were going to get an fair value gap to form right here with below this inversion that we have within this area on NASDAQ. We never got that, so price traded back up on into this range and consolidated. But at the same time, it traded down here. Look what ES did. It traded down below these relative equal lows, okay? Right down below these lows down here, all right? And then we shifted up higher within the higher part of this range up above this short-term high. So we had a market structure shift, okay? We had bearish SMT. So look over here on ES, higher low, higher low, higher low. Look over here, a low, a lower low, a lower low. So that's bearish SMT, and that works out for me. It does not need to be, no, I mean, that's bullish SMT. But it doesn't, if there's SMT on both sides, what's the narrative? Like, you guys might be asking, like, okay, well, what if there's SMT on both sides? What's the narrative? What can you frame? Where's liquidity? What are we looking for? Like I just said, we have the high of this weekly fair value gap that's up within here. So what is the narrative? You don't know the narrative, then what is there to do? You sit on your hands and you basically wait for price action to tell you. That's like something you really got to get into your brain, is like write down your emotions as they're forming and basically figure out what you can do. Anyways, price action, lower low, lower low, lower low, higher low, shift in market structure. Now I'm watching this area. What is this area doing? If retest in here, and we also have this new week opening gap, the 6.2 to 6.4. This is a new week opening gap. That could act as a bullish PD array if price was to reach back down into there. All right, but what I really liked is just waiting on price action to actually give me more information, because if we were to go bearish, I would look for these lows to be broken and maybe even a third swing low. But I did not like this buy until we closed up above this inversion gap that we have within here. And I liked NASDAQ a little bit more because NASDAQ had this weekly gap that I wanted to have targeted. So I'm looking at this inversion gap here. So it was a fair value gap, okay? But once it got broken through, I have a bullish bias with bullish SMT, a lot of PD arrays marking up for bullish movement up on in. So get a closure there, retest down and in, it should be lift off at that point. Even then, we have this breaker. So we have this highest up close candle, we'll use the wick within the breaker. It stops right here in the breaker, the next candle, boom, lift off. ICT talks about, okay, you can enter within the breaker. You don't need it to break the breaker, you can enter within it. So that's something that's always stuck to me as well if I have my narrative in play, because I was both ends here, bearish or bullish. So just have to wait for the potential. I'm not going to make this too long, but anyways, we created these drives higher, another 1, 2, 3 drives higher, shifted down below in the afternoon session, break a market structure, retest, retest, retest up within here, within this fair value gap. Pretty sure there's an inversion here as well in the higher time frame, but then price drives lower down below this low, breaking here with this fair value gap, testing here again the high of the weekly area, which is this red line, as well as this breaker that's forming down within here. So using the breaker paired with the fair value gap, paired with bearish order flow to the downside, with more SMT on these wicks here, with this breaker here on ES, with a clear draw on liquidity of these lows lower, and also these lows down here below here. So that's what happened. Morning session inched its way higher, shifted down lower, showing willingness, moving down lower. Let's say you missed that trade. Boom, we trade down below here. We come back on in. All right, we're back up on in here. Make a higher high here on ES, make a lower high here on NQ, bearish SMT. We would not want to see that high broken. So now we trade down lower again. Retest in, come back up on in, trade down below, as well as having this breaker right within here. And when this breaker's here, what can we see? Retest, break down below, fair value gap, breaker right there. At the same time, fair value gap, breaker. Yes, there's 3 drives to the downside with a new week opening gap. But once you break down below the new week opening gap, look, another breaker wick. Boom. Drops. Completely false because what do we have below? This low and this low. Clear draw on liquidity. Very, very clear. Okay. On ES, there was a 15-minute fair value gap for a potential draw on liquidity, which was within here, which we traded down on into. Okay. Pretty clear setup for the PM session for the shorts. Personally did not take those trades. I was actually getting an inspection with my car that was overdue. Didn't see it until after. But anyways, going over today's trading, what do we have? Okay, so we traded down below right at market open. All right, there was bearish SMT coming in. As you can tell, price high, traded down below, traded down on in here, traded up right here, and then traded back down below. All right, so basically bearish order flow on the way down within this area. And when that's happening, I'm looking for lower pricing. We have this low and this low. The previous day's low, I believe, was over here, Sunday and Monday. Took out the low and then traded back up higher. When I took out the low, I didn't know if it wanted to go higher here or go lower. So don't look at me like I'm a genie. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to wait for the information to present to me. So I'm using if then. If we come up here and use this breaker, because you might be asking, okay, why are you not shorting here with the fair value gap and breaker? It's because I need to see what the candles do in this area. I need to see more confirmation within the price action. Does it want to accumulate here, or does it want to break up higher? If it accumulated, poked here, traded down below, more accumulation, another poke up, and a drop lower, that's a short for me personally. But if we broke up higher in potential 1 minute time frame entries within these lower levels for price to come up to this high, new week opening gap, all these relative equal highs from everybody that's short, trailing their stop loss. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of money up there in my opinion. So I'm waiting for price to leave the clues to tell me where it wants to go. So I'm going to go over here now. Okay? We are accumulating within here. All right? We are accumulating within here. All right? So now we start to see price leave this area. Notice how price creates this, and I'm thinking, are we going to keep dropping or not? But once it came down here and it traded back on up, I noticed the bullish SMT. Lower low here on NASDAQ, higher low on ES, all right? We shift on up above with some strong candles, especially this 2-minute candle closure here, up above this high, and then we can scale down to those lower time frames, all right? Where's our draw on liquidity? Short-term draw on liquidity, this fair value gap with the 8:30 open, which is this blue line. I do like that. So if we go over to the 1 minute time frame. Now, this is where we get to see the ideal trade that I personally took this morning. But we traded down below, and we have the lower low here, higher low. Shift on up above this high, or at least up above this swing high here. We're already bullish here, using this order block as support with bullish closures here as well, to then retest for institutional order flow entry drill right here, just a few points below. Boom. Trades on up, taps the 830, comes back down, break even. 90% off the trade. 3 minutes. Right there. Can get you 3% that quick if you really want. 2%, 1%, however much you risk, honestly. So once that happened, traded back down and in, came back on up. So what are you doing when you hit break even? Basically, break even's hit. All right, we're still observing price. Price trades back on up above this area. It's now using this as a potential support, this previous breaker over here. So it's using this as a potential support to come back up into this fair value gap. I wasn't sure if we wanted to go higher or go lower because we hit the new day opening gap as well, as you can tell with this little gray box. I just know because that's what I marked up this morning. So now I'm still watching price action. What is it doing? So I'm looking at ES over here. ES pulled back down into this volume imbalance, traded back on up, back on up into this area within this inversion that we have from here to here. So we tap up, close above the inversion. Okay, I'm waiting, watching price. We come down into this volume imbalance that we have right here now. Okay, we're tapping into this volume imbalance that we have right here. Once we tap into the volume imbalance, we reject it. Boom, I like this area. Okay, trades on up in above this high and also above this high. So those relative equal highs takes those highs. I do like that. Personally, on the position that I did have today, I had my entry right here, and then we came up, came back down, and I closed half of it here because I didn't like the consolidation, came back on up, and I closed right within here at basically break even on this trade. So there was not really much money made on this trade, like a few bucks, but I closed it out at break even and wanted to wait. So at that point, this consolidation, even though I was still targeting this new week opening gap, I didn't really expect it to go this high, and if it was going to go higher, I was expecting this 30-minute gap, this red box up here. But until then, I walked away and focused on my other business at that point because I already made the profit with NASDAQ on this buy I had right there. But anyways, if we're just going to keep observing price, what did it do? It came up, accumulated, poked a high. Yes, part of my plan is do not enter a trade right after we poke a high. We're going to see some type of retracement. We traded back down below in this area, back in the volume imbalance. But then we closed down below it, but then we traded right back up on in. I believe there's a midnight open over here somewhere. I think it came off my chart because I cleared it, but came back up on in. We traded back up on in to that area, back up above here, retested this fair value gap. At the same time, notice how these are taking this low here, but we make a higher low here on this wick, okay? And we didn't even take that low. So bullish SMT in the 1 minute wicks, and we trade up towards this high here, and then up above these relative equal highs, and then trade it back down on in. Okay, so that was a pretty nice setup at that point to then launch price up into that area. Pretty clean. See the bullish order flow within there, as well as the bullish SMT from these areas as well. Right here. Right here is the bullish SMT. Boom. So it trades back up on in, up into that area. We come back up, come back down during the rest of the morning session. We accumulate, come back up on in here. I'm watching to see if this area is going to support price again. Boom. Boom. If this area wants to support, if we can close bullish above this inversion. Never did. So no confirmation on that trade. Came back down as we're making these lower highs. We're making higher highs here on NQ. Then we shift down below. Okay, we shift down. So we have this balanced price range here. We shift down below the balanced price range, and we retest with this wick right here below these lows on these breakers. Lowest down close candle. Test it right there. Next candle opens. Doesn't wick up into the fair value gap, but ES did. Entry. Boom. Targeting where? The nearest short-term low here, but I had a very good confidence that we're going to reach down below this low here from the New York session. Okay, so it was a pretty clear draw on liquidity at that point. We shifted back down, came back on up above this area, close up above this 1 minute, close up above this inversion here, consolidated within this inversion gap, okay, as you can tell. So we have this inversion gap here. We retest down and into it as we didn't get the retest down and in here. Just traded higher. So bullish SMT here. Trades on up in. Retest the high of the order block. Boom. Trades back up above here. Back towards these highs again. One more drive higher. And once we see that, now it just shifted right back down and just kind of accumulated the rest of the day. I didn't trade the PM. Nothing really looked that clean to me, in my opinion. Nothing's really in here. Yes, I'm on the 1 minute time frame right now. Okay. But yes, there is a lot more than just a 1 minute time frame. When I'm watching price action, I'm watching how these candles are closing. Okay, I'm watching these order blocks. I'm watching the 2 minute order blocks. Like this order block here, monitoring the order block. All right, monitoring this order block. Trades on up in, monitoring basically this area. If we break this balanced price range, boom, we're likely to go higher. Okay, price trades back down and up, comes up in here, bullish 2 minute closure. Now I'm watching price action here. All right, shifts down, retest this area. New week opening gap after taking a high. Where are we going to target? The nearest internal liquidity. Boom. So it's going internal, external. Okay. Then we're going to go back to this internal liquidity. More external down here, but we didn't reach that. But now, where to go back? Towards this liquidity up within there. All right, it's just going back and forth, back and forth. We trade back down into this area. Trade back up with energetic movement into here. We trade back down in here with the bullish 2-minute candle closure here at 224. 224 with targets above here, targets above in this rejection block, and also new week opening gap again. So it's a 2-minute bullish closure happened here at 224 within the silver bullet of the afternoon session. We get a retest in the new day opening gap with, let's see if it's paired with SMT here. Let's bring this up. Something all you guys can do too in your own charts. Bullish SMT, making all these relative equal lows here, but we're making higher lows here, as well as trading back down like I just said, from right within here. Retest this entry here, because we traded down into these order blocks. Shifted back up on in, traded back down and in here at that time. But this is ideal for me on ES. After that 2-minute candle closure, new day opening gap. Over here, we have confirmation above fair value gaps and inversion levels for price to continue towards these relative equal highs here on NASDAQ as well as the higher time frame bullish SMT, as you can tell. Here, lower low, higher low. And then we have wicks with lower lows with SMT. But anyways, that's just price action. Boom. Trades up on up in there. Boom. Gone. So it's just looking for these areas. You know, you don't want to see this low broken. Boom. Trades up this area here. New day opening gap. Short term, looking just for 5 points. Because that's a trading plan right there. 5 points. You don't need to close it here. Boom. Anyways, took it a little bit longer to get up into there. But still, afternoon session, it wasn't as clean to me, but I was also working on my other business. So that's why I just like AM session. AM session's my baby. PM session, I feel like just sometimes we're just scattered a little more, even though there's like entry time frames, but they just seem a little bit more scattered to me. They're tradable, but I have like a lot of other stuff to do. I don't want to be glued to the screen all day. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up for the day. Take it easy, guys. Love y'all. Let me know if you have any questions. Peace out.